Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Chemical Engineer. I am Sahil Yadav and in this video I will be discussing about the types of pumps. Okay, so in this video we will see about pumps and I will clear all your doubt related to pump. Okay, so please watch the video till the end. At the last of the video, I will discuss the questions that are being asked in interview related to pumps. So please watch the video and I hope it will clear all your doubt related to pump in concern to interviews in chemical engineering. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel till now, please subscribe it. Okay, so let us start the video. Okay, so pumps are the devices which convert energy, that is energy stored in the fluid, to mechanical energy by creating or generating a pressure. So this energy is used in industry to generate pressure. Okay, so uses of pumps include, that is for flowing of a fluid from lower pressure to higher pressure, flowing of fluid from lower level to higher level, as well as it converts mechanical to hydraulic energy. Okay, so this is what a definition of pump. So whenever you are asked in interview what are pumps, tell me something about pumps, then your answer should be, so a pump is a device for converting energy, that is from mechanical energy to hydraulic energy. So this should be your general answer. Then you may be asked that show the types of a pumps. So you have to answer, the pumps are basically divided into two parts: kinetic pump and positive displacement pumps. Okay, in kinetic pumps we have three classifications. First is centrifugal pump, second is regenerative turbine, and third is special effect pumps. In positive displacement pumps we have rotary and reciprocating as the two subparts. Okay, so whenever you were asked the basic classification of pumps, you have to simply answer that pump is divided into two parts: kinetic and positive displacement. And kinetic pumps are divided into further three parts, and they are centrifugal, regenerative, and special effect pumps. While positive displacement pumps are of two types: rotary and reciprocating. Moreover, these centrifugal pumps are divided into two parts. First is radial flow and second is axial flow. So radial flow means the flow is in the radial direction, that is direction of radius, that is from center to outward. And axial flow means direction of flow is in axis. Okay, so that is if a circle is a pump, then on the axis the flow will occur. Then axial flow pumps and radial flow pumps both are divided into single section or double section, as well as single stage or multi-stage. Okay, and the final classification is open impeller, semi-open impeller, and closed impellers. Okay, so this should be your correct order for defining the centrifugal pumps. Now I will discuss what and why these pumps are used. Okay, so here are the characteristics. Here are the two pumps, kinetic pumps and positive displacement pumps. So first characteristic is flow rate. So if we require higher flow rate at the outside or the outlet, then we should use kinetic pumps. Okay, so kinetic pumps are used when we require higher flow rate. So kinetic pumps like centrifugal pump are used generally. Similarly, in positive displacement pumps, the outlet flow rate is always low, but in positive displacement pump the pressure rise, that is the outlet pressure, is high. So two questions that are generally asked during interview are: which pump should we use when we require higher flow rate? So your answer should be kinetic pumps. Then which pump should be used when we require high pressure at the outlet? Then your answer should be positive displacement pump. Moreover, this may also be a question that the type of stream, outlet stream, that is obtained from kinetic and positive displacement. So outside of the kinetic pump, the stream seems to be a steady flowing, okay. As well as in positive displacement, it is pulsing, that is the outlet flow of the stream is pulsing, that is not a steady. Why it is not steady? Because the pumps that are positive displacement pumps, they are rotary as well as reciprocating, and in reciprocating pumps it is always, outlet is always a pulsing type, okay. So this is why positive displacement pumps produce pulsing outlet stream, that is not a steady. If we want to transfer high viscous fluid, then we require positive displacement pump. Kinetic pumps will not work, okay. This is also a interview question. And yes, self priming. So self priming is yes for positive displacement pump, but kinetic pumps can't be self primed. What is self priming? So you are a chemical engineer, so without googling, answer in comment what is the meaning of self priming, okay. Then in interviews they may not ask performance curve, but they may ask you this relations, and here is the RPM, okay. So flow rate is directly proportional to the RPM of a pump. H is the head, so head means the related to pressure, so P by rho G is the head. So head is directly proportional to the square of the RPM, means more will be the RPM of the pump. RPM means rotation per minutes, so more will be the RPM squared the times the head of the pump will be, and P is the power. So power of any pump is directly proportional to the cube of its RPM, okay. And this is the typical graph, performance curve. So performance curve is head versus flow rate. So in centrifugal pump always this type of graph is obtained, okay. Why? So this we will cover in fluid mechanics. And in positive displacement pump the flow rate remains constant, but as the head increases, while in the case of centrifugal pump flow rate increases by keeping the head constant, okay. So these are two performance curves. Now we will discuss about each of the pumps we have classified in the previous page. So first is the centrifugal pump. So this pump is also known as rotodynamic pump and rotary motion into pressure, okay. Second is the displacement pumps. So as we have discussed, the pumps category 2 is known as positive displacement. So why they are known as positive displacement? This is the interview question. So the answer should be these pumps take or imparts energy to the pumped material by using a fixed volume at a suction section. Means they take a fixed amount of volume once a time in there by suction, then they try to compress it and discharge it at the higher pressure. So always there will be a positive amount of fluid for each revolution, or positive pressure or the positive flow rate there will be always present for this type of pump. So this type of pumps are known as self-priming pumps. Okay, that is why they are also known as positive displacement pump, because their outlet pressure is always more than that of the inlet, always. Okay, so in displacement pump we have reciprocating and rotary. So reciprocating pumps are the pumps that use crankshaft rod mechanisms. So what are crankshaft rod mechanisms is this: they'll use piston type of arrangement for the transfer of fluid. So this is the inlet. Here they sucks the the fixed amount of the fluid, and then this piston, with the help of this piston, it imparts energy to this fluid and allow it to flow outside with higher pressure. Okay, so these are the reciprocating pumps in which piston and plungers are used. Yes, so this is also a good question, but not for chemical engineer but for mechanical engineer, that what is the difference between piston and plunger. Okay, so this may also be a good question. NPSH, so I hope you are clear with NPSH, so I am not discussing it here. Okay, next is the piston pump. So yes, this is what we have discussed. So this is a typical diagram of a double type, no, this is a typical diagram of a single stage or single acting piston pump. If we are using double acting, then here also there will be a pump piston. Okay, so if it will be a double acting, then here also on the opposite side of this piston there will be a second piston. So once it will impart energy this side and capture the inlet fluid from this, and then vice versa things occur. So that is the double acting. Okay, so limitation of piston pump is pressure differential limited due to internal moving seal. So this is of no use for chemical, this is for mechanical. Application of rotary, that is what we have already discussed. Yes, problems. For reciprocating pumps, the problem is frame vibration, rod drop. So this is a rod, typical rod, piston rod. Then component failure and gland leakage. So there may be a gland leakage. So some material is fitted here so that there may be no leak, and that material is also known as dash. This is the question number 3 of this class, of this video. Okay, rotary pumps means they have some gear type or the fan type arrangement, and due to its rotation they pass fluid from one point to other. So there are gear pumps. So gear pumps are generally two types: external gear pump and internal gear pumps. Okay, so this is a typical diagram of the internal gear pumps. Oh no, this is a external gear pumps, because fluid is flowing through the external sides of the gear pumps. So as gear rotate, they separates an intake side of pump, creating a suction. So when this rotates, it creates suction, because these are the blades. So these blades or this rod type arrangement creates suction because they are moving. So how they will move is because of the motor. Okay, so they moves and the fluid gets sucked into the pump arrangement, and then it gets outlet. So these pumps are generally used to flow or to pass high viscous fluids. Okay, so whenever we require high viscous fluid to transport, we require gear pumps. There are different pumps, but gear pumps also used for high viscous fluids. Okay. Second is lobe pump. So lobe pump is something that is having a lobe type arrangement. And what is lobe? I hope you are clear with this. Okay. So low viscous liquid are transported through lobe pumps. Okay. Yes, okay. So disadvantages of lobe pumps are more space is required, then it require high repairing cost because these lobes are not easy to be repaired because they are very heavy, of course. Then it also require two seals at the discharge as well as in at the suction. Hence, it may be a costlier. Screw pumps are required for the transportation of the solids. Okay, so I hope you have done experiment of screw conveyor in your mechanical unit operation course. So screw pumps are used for solid transport. Okay, so yes, centrifugal pump. Now we will discuss about centrifugal pumps. So centrifugal pumps works on the principle of conversion of kinetic energy into static pressure. That is, Bernoulli principle is directly applied to it. Okay, so how it works? So the videos of the animated videos of this centrifugal pump are available on YouTube, but this is just to explain. So when a impeller rotates, it accelerates fluids to pass into the eye of the impeller, and through eye it passes to the impeller vanes, and then due to the rotation the fluid transfer from the inlet to the outlet due to the rotation of the impeller. Okay, and the three conditions that we have discussed, that is the flow rate, head and power, are directly applied to the centrifugal pump. So questions in interview may be, what is the use of casing? So casing is used to decrease outward flow velocity. Then why the area of centrifugal pump is increasing at the outlet? So you have to answer it like, because the continuity equation is directly valid to the centrifugal pumps. The A1 into V1, that is area inlet into velocity inlet, is equal to the area outlet into velocity outlet. So in order to protect our pump from damage, the outlet area is kept higher so that velocity can be lowered. So your answer should be that. Yes, so this is a typical diagram of the centrifugal pump, and this is the front or side view. Okay, so generation of centrifugal force is also be called as the centrifugation. Okay, so centrifugal force is generally created in centrifugal pump. This is what your answer should be. These are all the parts. So this is what I have discussed, that why the volute is of higher area at the outlet. So velocity is inversely proportional to area, as well as pressure is directly proportional to area. Okay, impeller. Yes, impeller can be of radial flow, axial flow, mixed flow. Based on suction, maybe single section, double section, suction. Okay, yes, okay, so these are all what we have discussed. Yes, so this is also important, that water horsepower and brake horsepower. So water horsepower is the energy that what the pump has given to the water or the fluid. So it is given as m into, okay, so rho v into g into h, that is mgh. H is the total head, and brake horsepower is the power input to the pump. So that is the mechanical power, that is torque into rpm. We have specific speed. So specific speed is the speed which up to which the centrifugal pump works great. So we have a graph of the power relating to the speed. So at one point there is a maximum speed and the minimum power, so that point is used to calculate specific speed of the pump. So specific speed is n into under root q divided by head raised to 3 by 4. So okay, so hm is not a head but head per stages. So if we divide our pump into number of stages, then hm can be different as compared to the single stage. So specific speed is used to determine the size of a pump. So pump efficiency is defined as the energy given to the fluid, so that is water horsepower divided by brake horsepower. In general we calculate it as rho VGH divided by power input to the pump. Specific diameter is the dH by 4 under root q. So this is of no use up to now. This is all what we have discussed in fluid mechanics. Okay, so I hope I am clear to you up to the yes. Okay, so this is the best efficiency point curve. So at this point best efficiency is obtained, and at this efficiency we calculate the specific speed of the pump. Okay, so I am ending this video here. I hope you have learned something from this video. So thank you for watching the video. In next video we will discuss about compressors and valves. So please subscribe to the channel Chemical Engineer. Thank you.